Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. If you're gearing up for those postgraduate entrance exams, you're in the right place.
Definitely.
Today, we're doing a targeted session, really focusing on the vocabulary from Day 20, Unit 6, 13-26, Part 1. Think of this as getting a handle on some really high-value English words.
Exactly. And this particular set, it touches on some pretty fundamental concepts, so understanding them properly is, well, it's really important.
What kind of concepts are we talking about?
Well, we've got ideas around forgiveness and sympathy. Then there are words sharing those sim and sem roots.
Okay.
We'll also get into the basics of matter, like atom and electron, plus some similar sounding words around analyse.
Ah, yeah, this can be tricky.
And then words about sort of enduring things, undergoing processes,
Yeah.
and finishing up with a really critical topic of pollution.
Got it. So we're not just rattling off definitions here.
No, absolutely not. We want to get into the nuances, how they're used in exam context, maybe some memory tricks. Really aim for that deeper understanding that'll help in the exam and, beyond.
Perfect. Okay, let's kick things off with mercy. It's
Yeah.
a noun, right?
That's right, a noun. And fundamentally, it's about kindness, forgiveness, shown to someone you could punish.
Right, like letting someone off the hook.
Exactly. But it can also mean just good fortune. It was a mercy the bus arrived on time, like a blessing.
Okay, and the study materials mention the prince.
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast they draw. Mercy versus, cunning, ruthlessness, boldness, all as potential leadership qualities.
Makes you think, doesn't it? When is mercy the right call for a leader versus maybe a tougher approach?
It's a classic dilemma. So, in conversation, you might say.
The judge showed mercy, maybe. Or, like your example, it was a mercy the rain stopped. That unexpected good luck element.
Precisely. And this idea of understanding, of extending kindness, it leads us nicely into sympathy.
Another noun.
Yep. And this one's often about feeling pity or sorrow for someone else's, misfortune. But it's broader, too. It can mean agreeing with an opinion, supporting a cause, or just like a general understanding between people.
And there's a root connection here, isn't there? Sim?
You got it. Comes from the Greek syn, meaning together, and asympathy relates to feeling. So sympathy is literally feeling together.
That actually helps a lot. Okay, the material has an example. Seamen striking in sympathy with dockers.
Right, that shows the support, meaning very clearly they feel aligned with the docker's cause.
And another one, mental health allows us to view others with sympathy if they're having troubles. Kindness if they're in pain. That's more the pity or understanding aspect.
Exactly. And naturally we get the verb forms, sympathize or sympathize, with an S or a Z depending on UK or US English.
Meaning to feel or express that sympathy or to agree.
Right. So you might sympathize with a colleague who missed a promotion. You understand their disappointment.
Okay, so I could say, I really sympathize with how stressed you must be feeling, versus I felt a lot of sympathy for the people affected by the floods.
Perfect distinction. One is understanding the state, the other is feeling for the situation.
And if someone shows this quality, they are sympathetic. That's the adjective.
Yep. Like, my tutor was really sympathetic when I explained my difficulties. Just showing care and understanding.
The material also had that slightly more complex example about guilt-prone children sharing more, even if they didn't magically become more sympathetic.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It makes you question the motivation behind the action, doesn't it? Is it genuine feeling or something else driving the behavior?
Definitely food for thought. So a sympathetic ear is someone who listens kindly. A sympathetic character in a story is one you feel for.
Exactly. Now, closely related but different. Pathetic.
Yeah. Adjective. Sounds similar, but feels different.
It does. It can arouse pity, especially through sadness or vulnerability, but often carries a negative weight, like miserably inadequate. It often implies a lack, a failure.
Right. The examples help. She thought he looked a pathetic figure. That sounds quite harsh, critical.
It does.
But then she made a pathetic attempt to smile. That sounds more like weak, sad, maybe ineffective.
Precisely. So you might feel pity in both cases, but pathetic often suggests something is falling short. It's inadequate. You wouldn't call a generous donation pathetic, right?
No, definitely not. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. You mentioned words with those sim and sem roots.
Right. Let's start with symbol, noun. Basically a thing that stands for something else, especially something abstract.
Like the scales of justice are a symbol of fairness, or a company logo.
Perfect examples. The material mentions a new school as a symbol of hope, or the list of symbols on a map legend. Very concrete examples of representation.
And we get other forms from this.
We do. The adjective symbolic, meaning it serves as a symbol, or it's significant in that representative way. And the verb symbolize or symbolize, to be a symbol of something.
So a handshake can be a symbolic gesture of agreement.
Exactly. Or the lion often symbolizes courage.
Got it. Next, resemble. That's a verb.
Yes, meaning to look like or have qualities in common with someone or something else.
The example is pretty clear. So many hotels resemble each other. Similar appearance.
Yep. And the exam context one, a robot resembling a simple plastic box. Again, focusing on that similarity and how it looks, you might say one twin closely resembles the other.
Makes sense. Now, assemble. This one seems to have two distinct meanings.
It does, both verbs. First, to gather together people for a purpose, like a crowd assembled to hear the announcement.
Okay, like a school assembly.
Right. And the second meaning is to fit together the parts of something, like a machine or furniture. He needed help to assemble the new desk.
So context is key. Assembling people versus assembling objects.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Okay, next up, symptom, a noun.
Usually medical, right? A sign of a disease.
Primarily, yes. A sore throat and fever are common symptoms of the flu,
Right.
but it can be used more broadly, like a sign or indication of any problem. Declining sales were a symptom of deeper issues in the company.
The exam example sounds serious, though. Being alert to symptoms like chest pain.
Yes, that highlights the crucial medical meaning. Recognizing symptoms can be vital.
Okay, now let's get really small. Atom.
The basic unit of a chemical element. Super fundamental.
Like H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms, 1 oxygen atom.
Exactly. The material also mentions the splitting of the atom, which immediately brings nuclear energy and, well, nuclear weapons to mind.
Which connects to electron.
Right. A subatomic particle, negatively charged, found in atoms, carries electricity.
The example mentions the electron microscope, seeing tiny things.
Yep. And the adjective derived from it is electronic, relating to devices using electrons or the electrons themselves.
Like electronic music, electronic mail.
Electronic money, electronic circuits, all that stuff.
And that takes us straight to nuclear. Adjective.
Relating to the nucleus of an atom, mostly used when talking about nuclear power or nuclear weapons.
Examples compare costs of nuclear plants versus other sources, or the cleanliness compared to coal. And mention a nuclear reactor, it's clearly tied to atomic energy.
Very much so. Okay, now for a pair that sometimes causes confusion. Analyze and emphasize.
Right. Both verbs. Let's start with analyze, or analyze with a Z.
It means to examine something carefully, methodically, breaking it down to understand its structure or parts. For explanation, interpretation.
Yeah.
Even psychologically.
Like scientists analyzing data.
Exactly. The example is the job involves collecting and analyzing data. And the exam one, analyzing a weak lecture to improve next time, taking it apart to learn.
And the noun form is analysis, the process or result of analyzing.
Right. The exam question about the analysis of our personal data, who should benefit, that shows how important the concept of analysis is, not just the action.
Okay, so emphasize or emphasize, also a verb.
This one means to give special importance or stress to something, to make it stand out.
Like, the report emphasized the need for urgent action, highlighting it.
Precisely. Or, she emphasized the key findings during her presentation, making sure people notice them.
And the noun is emphasis, the special importance itself.
Yep. The company puts a strong emphasis on customer satisfaction. That's their priority, what they stress.
So, quick check. You analyze something to understand it, but you emphasize something to make it seem important.
That's a great way to put it. Different goals.
Okay, clear. Now, moving into words about enduring or undergoing things. First, tolerate. Verb.
Means allowing something you don't like to exist or happen without stopping it, or simply to endure something difficult or unpleasant, putting up with it.
Like, I can't tolerate rudeness, meaning you won't allow it.
Right. Or how does she tolerate that constant noise? Meaning, how does she endure it, put up with it?
And we get tolerant, the adjective, and tolerance, the noun.
Exactly. Tolerant means willing to allow different views or behaviors, even if you disagree. Tolerance is that willingness, or it can be the physical capacity to endure something, like developing a tolerance to medication.
The example, she had no tolerance for jokes, shows that lack of willingness to put up with something.
Yeah. It's useful to think about being tolerant of different people or ideas versus tolerating, say, pain or a difficult situation.
Good point. Okay, undergo. another verb.
This means to experience or be subjected to something, often something necessary or maybe unpleasant. It implies going through a process.
Like the building will undergo extensive renovations. It's a process it's subjected to.
Exactly. Or the example. Our feelings and thoughts undergoing a corresponding change, as we learn. It's about experiencing a transformation or process.
Right. Then there's endure, also a verb. Similar, but maybe slightly different.
It could be similar, but often emphasizes suffering patiently.
Yeah.
They had to endure hardship during the war. But it also has a second important meaning: to last, to remain in existence.
Ah, okay. So enduring pain is the suffering part.
Yes, the example talks about commuters enduring fare rises or poor infrastructure. That's the suffering patiently meaning.
But you could also say, his fame endured long after his death. That's the lasting meaning.
Precisely. Two key facets to that word.
And connected to that lasting meaning is duration, the noun.
Right. Simply the length of time something continues or lasts. The contract has a duration of 1 year.
The example mentions an effect holding steady for the study's duration, the whole time period.
Yep. And the related adjective is durable, meaning it's able to last a long time, withstand wear and tear.
Like durable goods, things that aren't used up quickly. The exam context compared mass-produced clothing to fast food, calling it non-durable.
Exactly. Something durable is meant to endure.
Okay, almost there. Final theme. Pollution. Starting with pollute, the verb.
Means to contaminate water, air, a place, etc., with harmful substances.
Factories that pollute the environment. Pretty straightforward.
Yes. And the example about Madrid restricting the most polluting cars. Clear link.
And the nouns are pollution, the state of being polluted or the harmful stuff itself, and pollutant, the specific substance that causes the pollution.
Right. We talk about air pollution, water pollution, plastic pollutants, chemical pollutants.
Got it. And lastly, contaminate. Ver again.
Very similar to pollute, meaning to make something impure by adding something harmful or poisonous.
Like the water supply was contaminated with bacteria.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
But contaminate can also be used more broadly, metaphorically even. Like they accuse the pamphlets of contaminating the minds of young people, making impure or corrupting.
Ah, interesting. So it's not just physical, and the noun is contamination.
Yes, the state of being made impure, whether physically or otherwise.
Okay, wow, that was a lot of words. 19, I think?
Yep, a solid chunk. Now, how about we try putting some of these into a more natural context, maybe a quick chat between students?
Good idea. Let's imagine. Emily and David, again, they're studying for this exam. Start dialogue.
Yeah, as Emily. Ugh, this postgraduate prep is just so much. I feel like all I do is analyze complex texts.
As David, tell me about it. And some of this vocabulary. It feels like it's designed to confuse you, you know? Like sympathetic, empathetic. I still sometimes mix them up.
As Emily.
Yeah.
My trick is, if you feel sympathy, you're being sympathetic. But if something's pathetic, it's usually like disappointingly weak or sad.
Right. Like my pathetic attempts to get up early. Seriously, I have to really endure that 6 a.m. alarm. It's painful.
As Emily. I sympathize, totally. I'm trying to tolerate my neighbor's terrible music choices just so I can study. The duration of quiet I need feels impossible sometimes.
As David. Exactly. Hey, did you see that article on the new city plan? They really emphasize the need to cut down on pollution. Apparently, it's a big symbolic move against climate change.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's pretty scary how easily things like rivers can get contaminated, isn't it? We need rules to stop companies just polluting everything.
As David. Couldn't agree more. Anyway, I'm trying to assemble a better study schedule. I've analyzed where I went wrong last time. Gotta emphasize vocab more.
Yeah.
You.
As Emily. Similar stuff, trying to connect words. Like knowing sim means together helps with sympathy, and sumble, like similar, makes resemble click.
As David. Good tip. I also try to make sentences immediately, like, I really hope the examiners show mercy if my handwriting is terrible.
Hey, as Emily. Me too. But maybe we shouldn't count on their mercy. We need to properly understand this stuff so we don't give, a pathetic answer just because we mix things up.
As David. True. Okay, let's keep going. Hopefully all this effort will endure and we'll actually get in end dialogue.
That worked pretty well, I think. You can hear how those words naturally weave into conversation about studying, news, everyday frustrations.
Absolutely. It shows how they're not just abstract exam words. Okay, quick recap then. We covered mercy, sympathy, sympathetic, pathetic.
Symbol, resemble, assemble, symptom.
Atom, electron, nuclear. Analyze, emphasize.
Tolerate, undergo, endure, duration.
And finally, pollute and contaminate. Phew.
Yeah. And for remembering the trickier ones, Try visualizing. Assemble picture-building Legos. Endure. Imagine climbing a really tough mountain.
And like Emily and David did, using them actively in speaking or writing practice is probably the best way to make them stick.
Definitely. It's not just about knowing the definition for the postgraduate exams. It's understanding the nuances, the context, how they actually work.
So consistent work, these kinds of deep dives, that's the path.
It really is. It's all part of building that solid foundation for success.
Right. And maybe one final thing to chew on before we wrap up. Thinking about etymology, those word origins, we touched on sympathy. How does knowing analyze relates to breaking things down or contaminate to making impure actually deepen our understanding?
That's a great question. What about other words on the list? Like endure or tolerate. Do their origins shed light on their meanings today?
Something for you all to explore, perhaps. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.